I spent maybe 10 to 20 minutes off and on listening to the end of the Bhagavad Gita as it is read on YouTube, and I spent some time listening to the end of the Dhammapada being read on YouTube, like the last 5 or 10 minutes of the audiobook or of the book being read. And it wasn't really necessary, or I felt it wasn't necessary to listen to more than that because of my 20 years reading this type of stuff and meditating and all that. So, what I have to say about it is in order to really know ourselves and life, it seems that we need to constantly be aware of our consciousness in real time and strengthen that awareness. What that means is what that entails, I don't use that word entails too often, so I believe I'm using it right, but let me use a different word. What is required in order to strengthen your awareness of your consciousness in the present moment is a combination of sacrifice and motivation beyond normal values or regular values. You can't be wanting or strongly desiring uh, wealth or power. Let me rephrase that. Most of the things that we want, as far as a husband, a wife, riches, prestige, you have to put that aside, or you can't want that and an exploration of what you truly are at the same time. Or a better way to say it is, you can't explore what really is, or the reality of what really is, and also want those things at the same time. They don't go together. I have recently found myself distracted and taken off course because of that. Not too distracted, but distracted enough, and I could feel a type of energy disconnect. So I'm trying to get back on it. But anyway, there are things that cannot be explained. There are powers which currently modern technology cannot really detect, that you can tap into. But you must be motivated enough to separate yourself from normal, well, the typical wants and desires of most people. You must have more of a desire to explore the infinite and the unknown. You must be in real time, or be connected to real time, and strengthen that to even go possibly beyond real time, where there, I guess, is no separation. That's the best way I can describe it. I'm speaking from a combination of experience and theory. It may sound like a type of gibberish, or it may sound nonsensical, but I'll phrase it. I'll say this: how much time does the average person just spend doing nothing, or trying their best to do absolutely nothing but observe their consciousness and surrounding phenomena, or phenomenon? I believe that's the word. Surrounding activity or non-activity. It's almost like I describe it like, based on my own experience, I describe it like they're trying to become, well, it feels like you're becoming one with space, where there's no separation between you and space. You must let the you that you are familiar with, the identity you have of yourself, and your values slip away to certain degrees for the sake of true exploration. Exploration without narratives, without anecdotes, without, well, I was going to say blind faith, but you do need a certain amount of faith. You need faith enough to try. That's all. Faith enough to try. We've explored as beings so many different places all over this planet. We've even tried to go to space mechanically through rocket ships or through ships of some sort. We've gone underwater. We've risked our lives to go underwater, to go in caves, to go in the earth, to go into volcanoes in some cases. But it seems very difficult for us to let go of what we consider self, or let go of our idea of what we think we are or believe we are, for the sake of seeing what is truly there, what is truly available, or what is truly present. The things I've experienced at my best, I don't want to go too deeply into them, but it definitely feels dangerous at times. I'll to give any of you some pointers or some tips or some warnings. I feel like you should have, if you're going to meditate, I recommend having the best intention you can. Meaning like I am seeking to see what is here within me and around me for the sake of humanity and answers in general, so that I can not just help myself but help others. This may seem complicated, or it may even seem hypocritical when I say to let go of yourself and to let go of narratives. But at the same time, have good intention. The reason is, based on my experiences, if you're meditating without good intention, you run the risk of experiencing, well, you still will most likely experience what I've experienced, but it may be difficult to come back. It's best way I can describe it is you can end up feeling like you're you're losing your mind, and you are, in a sense, you're losing one mind for the sake of another. Like it's almost like you're oh, I don't know. It's like tapping into like cosmic Google or something. Like you're becoming one. Like instead of remaining who you are or who you have known yourself to be, you might feel like you're just one with information or becoming one with information. And this affects your perception of what you are and being, and it can be very frightening. So if you have the best intention when you do this, in my opinion, you'll you'll be able to, well, you'll have a better chance of being able to pull yourself back. I remember maybe like 15 years ago, I would I would go, well, I felt driven to go drink, to get intoxicated for the sake of distracting me from the meditation. The meditation was so strong. The flood of information was so strong that I needed to that I had such a great fear of remaining or touching on that realm that I ran to, well, not ran, but went to the liquor went to the liquor store so that I could distract myself from that path. I don't like telling stories like that because it sounds, these things nowadays can be used against you. But there's so much human beings do not know about existence, existence in general. Anyway, I'm trying to. I was trying to complete, or well, this is the second half of a post or of a topic I was touching on. And I guess my point in making this or talking about this is, or the benefit of moving in these directions is, I don't fear death as much as most people do at all. I don't get me wrong, I mean, there are different ways of dying. I may fear the dying, and there are so many different ways to die. But I don't have I don't have a lot of fear as to whether or not there's something else after I pass on. I definitely believe there's something else, and overall, I believe um, I will appreciate it and I will enjoy it because I know the quality of my heart. And I, who knows, may experience some unpleasant things, but I believe overall my transition will be good because I know the quality of my heart. And I trust in the quality of my heart. We have all these cell phones, tablets, computers, TVs, with all this Wi Fi, all this information, traveling through all of these objects, all of these devices, yet, as it relates to ourselves being connected to the infinite, many people view these talks as mumbo jumbo or some superstition or hocus pocus myth or mythology. I'm not asking you to believe in a narrative. I'm trying to get all of you, or as many of you as possible, to take the time to be still, to be present, to see what is there, to see what you are, what you are made of. And the only way you can do that, or the main way I know of that you can do that, is to be still and let go of your narratives, of your perceptions of self, of who I am, what I am. You can pick it back up if you want to, but you need to let go of it for a while. Just to try it, just to feel it out. Relax your body. I try to imagine, for the sake of kickstarting my meditation, I try to imagine myself floating on water, just for the sake of relaxing my muscles and feeling, or trying to feel my spirit in my flesh. That relaxed state, well, the more you relax, the more you're actually getting closer or in tune to what is. You try these exercises within 5-10 minutes of deep breathing and relaxing, just trying to relax. Pretend you're floating on water, relax your muscles as though you were floating. And by doing this, you will begin to see that or feel that there was quite a bit of tension within you. Why? doesn't this mean that you've been disconnected from doesn't it mean that to some extent we're disconnected from a natural state? That's something for you to answer, for you to think about. I can't give you the answer on that, but I know I constantly find myself tense, and I must constantly relax. But that takes awareness. It takes awareness of knowing what you're supposed to be feeling like. We're supposed to be at peace. Well, I'll phrase it this way. I prefer to feel at peace. And I know what levels of peace I've touched on. There are stories I will not even go into at this point. They're personal, they're private, but the benefit of me having meditated for so many years is that I'm pretty acquainted with how I'm supposed to feel or how I can feel. So when I feel stressed, it doesn't feel right. So I know what I need to do. I need to relax. I'll say something very amusing or very interesting. I think most of you will find this very interesting. If you look at heroin addicts while they're under the influence, you'll notice when they lean how relaxed they are. How at peace they seem to be in those positions. But what it is they don't realize is that they can feel that way without the drugs. The drugs are cheating. It's making you or allowing you to tap into peace that otherwise would take quite a bit of self exploration and discipline to tap into. So these people are not wrong for wanting to get high. They're wrong for the method that they're using to get high. If you're trying to get high and you don't care who you're hurting, if you're hurting yourself, if you're hurting society, if you're supporting organized crime with your money, this is not how to get high. This isn't a constructive or beneficial way to get high. get high by making peace with who you are as a being, making peace with the worst things you can imagine that life has to offer, figuring out answers, trying to figure out answers for life's problems. Figure out why you went to the needle, why you went to the bottle, why you went to the slot machine, why you went to uh, the racetrack or whatever. Why you gave so much of yourself to that relationship or those relationships, and why it felt so bad. And sadly, in our society, especially if you're in America, these thoughts are not promoted. These values are not promoted. These questions are not asked. We want you to, it seems our society wants you to step out of yourself to look for everything. You can have peace for $19.95. Just buy my this, buy my that. Buy this new stove or this new cookware, buy these new shoes. You can have peace and you'll feel great if you buy this, if you buy that. If you have this, if you have that. If you take this, this is the answer. These shoes are the answer. The biggest fight is rejecting all of this. I don't mean, I'm not saying go kill yourself. I'm not saying go take all of your possessions and give them away. But just give them some distance. You may end up giving your possessions away or selling them. I have on too many occasions. When you realize that a lot of this stuff is just taking up space and you'd rather just have the money or just give it to somebody.